Have you ever wondered if you'll be able to retire or stay retired? The reason you may not know the answer is because you may not know how much you spend on average each month. And if you think about it, you'll realize that you can't possibly have any retirement security without knowing what it costs you to live. Now, if you don't know how much you spend, how can you know if you have enough retirement income to pay for your cost of living? You might have a sense of it, but do you really know? Most people underestimate their actual spending by 30%, and that's the reason they run into financial trouble and they have to worry about their money. Today, we're going to fix all of that. Now, before we get too deep, I just want to mention that in many of our videos, we have links to services and products that we find useful and endorse. If you click on any of those links, we'll be compensated. So just so you know. Okay, let's get to work. Today, we're going to cover the following topics. First, how spending tracking is different than budgeting. Next, why most people fail to track their spending. Third, how to figure out what it costs you to live on average in less than 5 minutes each month. And last, how to use that number to create retirement security. First, let's talk about spending tracking versus budgeting. Spending tracking looks at your historical spending tracking. The reason this is important is because these are facts on the ground, and based on your historical spending, you get an idea what it may cost you to live in the future, what it will cost you to live in the future. Now, budgeting is what you plan or hope to spend in the future. Budgeting can be very useful to help you make important spending decisions, but tracking tells you your actual spending habits, and that's much more powerful in my experience. Next topic, why don't more people track their spending? That's simple, because they think they have to track every single penny they spend. They think they have to write down every time they buy a coffee or every time they go to the movies. Now, that's a ton of work and it's not very fun, so most people just don't do it. The good news is you don't have to do any of that. And that leads me to the next topic, which is how to track your spending in under 5 minutes a month. The good news is you can actually do this in about a minute a month because your bank has done most of the work for you. Here's an example of your monthly bank statement. You can clearly see your total withdrawals for the month. The bank sends you this information every month, and guess what? That's what it costs you to live that month. You pay all your bills from the checking account, your rent, your mortgage, your credit cards, and even if you spend cash, you take the cash withdrawals from the checking account. So your total withdrawals for the month shows you your total spending, or what it costs you to live that month. Now, some months are more expensive than others, so we're going to show you how to take that one number and track it every month and then calculate a running 12-month average. Now, don't worry, we're going to show you how to do that very easily, and by watching your 12-month average spending, you'll know if you're living within your means or not, and if not, you'll know what you have to do to correct the situation. Now, this approach is really easy, but it assumes that you have one checking account and pay your bills from that checking account. And even if you earn cash, you deposit that cash in your bank account so that when you withdraw the cash, the withdrawal is reflected in your total withdrawals for the month. Okay, Larry created a little video to walk you through the steps in calculating your 12-month average spending. Take it away, Larry.
Okay, so let's talk about setting up a spreadsheet to track your expenses. Now, I'm using Microsoft Excel. Maybe you don't have Microsoft Excel. Not a problem, don't worry. So there are free spreadsheets like this. For example, let me pop over here to my browser, and let's say one of the free spreadsheets, just go to your browser and type in Google Sheets and hit enter, and it'll take you right here, Google Sheets, online spreadsheet editor. And if you have a Google account, you can sign in or just click this, go to Sheets, and right down here, there's a little plus sign. When this sheet page opens up, just click that, and it'll open up a new spreadsheet. And this is just like Microsoft Excel. If you don't have a Google account, not a problem. Just type in, open a Google account to your browser, and it's free, and you can use these spreadsheets at no cost. The other option is type into your browser, open Office, and you can download, this is free software. It's just like Microsoft Office, but instead of whatever, $90 a year, it's free. And it has a spreadsheet and word processor, etc. So you don't need to use Excel like I'm doing. So first step is you've got your bank statements and you want to start entering your withdrawals. So we just want to label, our month numbers here. Okay, and then I have my numbers from my bank statements, which I've labeled total withdrawals. So let me just put in some numbers here. And these are the numbers you're going to get right off of your bank statements. Okay, so now we've got our withdrawals. And what I want to do over here is I want to get the average of these 12 months. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. You can either put in the formula here to add up all these numbers, and it would look like this. Notice that this cell is F3, right? Third row, column F. So you could do this. You could say plus F3 plus F4, and like that. And then you would, after you have all of them entered, you would just say divide by 12. Okay, and that'll give you an average. Or because I'm using Excel and there's some built-in formulas, I'm going to go here to formulas, and this would be a mathematical formula. And let me see, there should be one for average. But since I already know what it is, you say equal average. And I'm going to average the cells labeled F3 through F13. Nope, 14. Okay, so that little function built into most spreadsheets. And I got it in the wrong row, so I'll just move it down. So now that's my average for the last 12 months. Okay, so now our next step is what happens after the 12 months? What do we do then? So what we'll do is we will continue to just add, our withdrawals from our bank account as time goes on. Okay, and what I'm going to do, so these would be months 14, 15, and this is going to go on for basically ever. And because I used a formula here, I could just copy this and it'll always give me the most recent 12 months. So I can see my average expenses for my average over that first 12 months was $52.66. The average over the next 12 months, not the next 12 months, but the most recent 12 months was $57, and so on. Here's the most average for the most recent 12 months. And that way I can see my average spending over the last 12 months. And the beauty of this is that extra expenses, maybe for a roof or dental repairs or something, it all gets averaged in because you will always have extra unforeseen expenses, and you definitely want to include that in your averages.
So to summarize what Larry just showed you, step one is to create a spreadsheet and write down your total withdrawals number that you get from your bank statement every month. Step two is to calculate a running 12-month average of your total withdrawals. Step three is to repeat that every month until I tell you to stop, which will be never. Now add the next month's total withdrawals and figure out the new average of the last 12 months. Just copy and paste the formulas you created in the total spending and 12-month average. Now, let me warn you, you will see that average monthly spending number change. That's because some 12-month periods include heavy spending months and others have light spending months. That's okay because we're averaging the 12 months, so the low and the high months of spending will get averaged out. There are some adjustments that you need to make. For example, if you earned cash and spent that cash but you didn't deposit it in the bank before you spent it, it won't be reflected in your total withdrawal number. So you have to add that to your total monthly spending. Next, if you transferred money between one account to another, take that out of spending. Now, one word of caution, you might say, I had a $2,000 dental bill that month, so I should deduct that to reflect my actual spending because that doesn't come up each month. Now, the reality is there will be unusual expenses that come up every month, like the roof on the house or vacation or car repair. And our method is based on averaging your 12 months. So don't pull those unusual expenses out of your total monthly with numbers. Okay. Having said that, if you paid off a very large debt or took a bunch of cash out of the checking account and invested that money, you should adjust your withdrawals for that because those things aren't really spending. Let's move on to the next topic. What do you do with this number once you have it? This is where the magic really happens. First, compare the average spending to average income. Determine if you have a surplus, and if you do, maybe you can spend more or, better, save and invest more. And by the way, we have a number of videos that talk about investing, so please hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell and check those out. Next, if you have a deficit, now's the time to go back and make decisions and perhaps implement some budgeting ideas. Look through your spending details on the checking account and the credit card statements and decide what cuts you're going to make or how you're going to earn more money. But you do this based on understanding where you are financially. Now, also, this is where a program like Quicken might be really helpful. I've been using Quicken for 20 years, even though I've also been using this 5-minute-a-month method for 20 years. Quicken automatically downloads and categorizes your spending so you can easily see the details of how you spend your money. The 5-minute-a-month process tells you if you have a problem, and the detailed tracking by Quicken shows you how to fix the problem if you have one. Now, in the description, we may have a link to the best Quicken software package available, so check that out. There's a lot of different packages. Now, last, I want to compare your average spending number over time. Is it going up or is it going down? If so, look at the detailed spending records and determine what's really going on and if you have a problem that you need to address by cutting expenses or earning more. Again, you can go through your credit card statements and bank statements or use a program like Quicken to make it a little easier. If you do this, you'll have a better grasp on your financial situation than 90% of the retiree population. And take this step to make sure you win your retirement crusade. On the next video, we're going to talk about the safest investments for 2022. So if you're interested in that or other topics that will help you safeguard your retirement crusade, please make sure to subscribe.